days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.
CC in Maryland. Welcome to the Karen Hunter Show. Don Calloway is here. Hi.
Hi. Thank
Hi.
you.
Thank
Taking
you.
my call. I'm
welcome.
going to be brief, and I love this conversation. Kind of what I wanted to say is what I see is that there is, from the beginning of time, has been this white underbelly existence of desperation to keep supremacy. It's an underbelly of calculated, patient, based in evil to me, energy that is desperate to keep their supremacy in the forefront. If there had never been a Barack Obama, I don't think there would have been a Donald Trump. And we've said
that's a fact. That's a fact. But we're
Right.
here now. I think you're absolutely right. And I wouldn't trade Barack Obama's 8 years for what is meant for so many young people. I don't know if I would trade that for what came next. I think we just need to be more vigilant. I feel like we always feel like the battle is the war won, and it's never the war. The war never ended, by the way, and I'm talking about the Civil War. They understood that was just a battle. And then shortly thereafter, Lincoln gets assassinated, and then they get to go. Like, it's the fight never stops. We're the ones that just say, "Oh, we've gotten there." We haven't. Not with Carter, not with Clinton, not with Reconstruction. It's constant. We have to keep fighting. CC, and thank you for your call. It is tiring though. It is tiring. Would you trade Obama in if we didn't get if we could never have a Donald Trump? Would you not get an Obama presidency?
That's tight. That's a tough question.
Ooh.
I have legitimate criticisms of Barack Obama, and listen,
we all do. I'm saying something though. Because to me, just like this election is not about Biden, Obama's election wasn't really about Obama. Because I think he was the president of the United States doing what presidents have done and will do and will continue to do. This is something different though with Trump.
Yeah. I think Barack Obama cost Democrats. Obviously, it's all based in racism, ultimately. But
Right.
I think that the way Barack Obama went about being president and leader of the plumbing of the nationwide Democratic Party hurt the broad Democratic cause in a way that I don't think him being symbolically. Obviously, it's more than symbolic.
Okay.
It's actual. But it hurt us in a way that I don't know is made up for in his presence, in his symbolism.
I appreciate that. And I know exactly what you're saying. And I think he also miscalculated the lengths that racism, that white power would go to ensure its existence. It's like a species of thing that knows it's on the brink, because again, white is a made up construct. It was on the brink of cracking, and we were heading towards this more perfect union, and it was gonna hold on by any means necessary. And I think he didn't calculate that right, coming in, reaching across the aisle, that when you had the mandate he had Congress and the presidency, and wanted to negotiate. Yeah. Because that's what people do in politics, right?
I think it is. But to that end, I think that Barack Obama was interested in governing and legislating for the benefit of the greater good. But I think that in terms of someone who was at the helm and the leadership of the actual organism and thing that is one of two political parties in this country, I think he was more interested in amassing assets and authority and power for himself and his brand, rather than building a long-term, sustainable, and viable Democratic Party that is to be the political home for a multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-gender populist political base. In other words, he built OFA and not the state party of Idaho, the state party of Missouri, the
Right.
state party of,
Right.
of,
Right.
of, of
Right.
Arkansas. And we lost generational gains
Yes.
in exchange for a singular person. And that makes it even worse when you think about the achievements of that singular person being vulnerable to being wiped out by the next president or the next Congress or a Supreme Court.
Yes.
So when I look at my generation of politicians, most of whom's name we'll never know, being a politician is effectively no different than being a bus driver or a postal worker. I know the other politicians throughout the country. We work together, we exist together, we come from the same places. And I look at the effect on the Democratic Party, particularly in the South, Alabama, Arkansas, South Carolina, where you have appreciable numbers of Black people who want and deserve to participate in American democracy. Barack Obama made some fatal errors in achieving the leadership of our party that built himself and did not build party infrastructure for years to come to make sure that people would be able to participate and continue to push toward a more perfect democracy for years to come.
Mm. And maybe this is a good time to talk about experience.
Yeah.
And intent, right? I've been talking about this for a minute with whoever will listen to me. Anybody that has a platform, anybody that's running for office in this day and age. This morning we talked with Ross Baraka. It has to be about service, right? If you're going to be a political person, whether it's mayor, governor, president, it should be about service to the people. Period. Right?
Period.
If you have a microphone, individual fame and aggrandizement and branding and all that, to me, in this day and era that we're in right now, just spits in the face of everybody. And so, but we have to demand more of the people that we quote unquote follow and vote for. But I think you're right. Had he had more political experience other than being a one-term senator from Illinois that came in on a sex scandal from the previous guy, because the previous guy would have beat him, like for real, if not for the wife that was an actress, that there was some sex thing happening that,
right.
That he stepped down. And if it wasn't for Harry Lennox giving him the swag, in terms of the thing that he can imitate very well. And Jeremiah Wright giving him the entree into that, like gave him the bona fides and the foundation to be able to be. And Michelle, South Side of Chicago, with her very, very Blackness, giving him the thumbs up for Black women to be okay. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there was a perfect storm without the legacy understanding what the purpose was. It wasn't just about that singular being the first.
Yeah. I mean, there are legitimate criticisms of Barack Obama, and I'm ready to talk about all of them in the book I'll never write. In on the joke coming, 2000 February. But there are legitimate criticisms of Barack Obama that, TBH, to be honest, African American leadership has not made over the course of the last 15 years because we want to get invited to White House parties. You want to be able to do it for the gram. And if I were to not be cynical, people want access to who they see as certain people in realms of leadership. It's the same reason that sports journalists didn't criticize Michael Jordan for all these years. It's the same reason that, nobody except for Monica McNutt says much about Stephen A. Smith, even though
it's happening. It's happening.
It's starting to happen. It's
happening. But it takes somebody to do it, right?
It takes somebody to do it.
And then people go, oh, it's okay for us to do it. Like we're such sheep. But this is the nature of people, right? People don't do the outliers are the ones that take the hits, right? And then everybody goes, oh, this is the bandwagon. We jumping, and then we claim that we were there all along. This is the time to examine Barack Obama's presidency as not a criticism of Obama the person, but as a blueprint for what not to do. Next time, because there's always going to be a next time. We need to use that as instruction for how we actually craft the institution of power in this country.
Right. I think it's for what to do, because he did some great things, as well as what not to do. And I think, it's a lot. Right? So it's very difficult to discuss this in terms of, short, discrete concepts, because they all add together. Barack Obama effectively, look, if finance is the industry of New York City and beef is the industry of Iowa, and film and production is the industry of Los Angeles, California, then government and politics and consultancies and businesses that sprout therefrom is the business of Washington, D.C. Just like any other industry, after 3 and 4 generations of professional participation and the growth and building of a congressional Black caucus, which was built brick by brick and inch by smart, committed Black people who understood the industry of government and wanted to participate in all of the holistic avenues in which policy is made and built in this country, Barack Obama destroyed that. And so there is a real political economy that was accruing real wealth to Black people in this space and in this industry. If you look at the richest counties in this country, they're based in, and I know you don't like that. I know you don't.
No, but the perception
Barack
of that
Obama destroyed it.
But some would say good because only some people had because everyone was telling him to wait his turn. So this is a very nuanced conversation. Now we're talking about Bernie Sanders, right? Because those same gates kept him from being a legitimately viable candidate, even though he was really pressing the stretching the bounds. As we should have as many bounds stretched because we need many parties. We're at a free choice right now. Most of us don't like it.
We do, but I know I sound like a first world problems. Oh, they took away your little lobbying clients. No, there is room for everybody. I may sound like that, but here's the deal: government and influence and thought is a legitimate and legal space by which we push policy forward in this country for marginalized and voiceless as people. And Barack Obama came through and threw a cold blanket on all of that. Consequences be damned. And
but it was a very tiny insider. So most of us didn't have. Yes, most of us did not have access to that. You were in.
Did.
So you
did, and you still do have access. And Barack Obama shut off your access to public figures in a very real way, such that let's be clear about something. The Urban League and Sisters of Good Hope and Charity of Calhoun County no longer has a direct line to its elected officials because Barack Obama said it's not cool to talk to lobbyists. Well, most lobbyists I know, particularly Black ones, do a whole lot of advocating on behalf of community organizations who pay us nothing or very, very minimal amounts. But it's not even just about lobbying. It's about this idea of reforming government in a way that was not very thoughtful and forward thinking for the long haul in exchange for, hey, I don't talk to lobbyists. Hey, I don't talk to PAC money. Well, you were still going to win the election without that. You did not have to recklessly destroy an industry that a whole lot of real smart Black people who came before you created so we could have a foothold in a professional space, just like we have a foothold in being stuntmen and cameramen out in Hollywood, or a foothold in being analysts at big banks in New York City. But I'm a professional politician, and at some point you got to own that because it allows me.
I was going to say, so this is personal. This is personal.
But there's a whole
personal. Let's own it. Own that too. You know,
well, here's the deal. You should be able to play and participate in policy and politics without running for office. There is an industry which allows you to do that. There's an industry which allows Black kids to do that. You slinging crack rock, you got a wicked jump shot, or you can come your ass up to Capitol Hill and read Schoolboy Rock and figure out how to do this thing and participate in this thing and do some cool stuff in the process. And is it all righteous? No, but it's a space to prosperity and a track to the middle class.
For who though? For individuals? People. For individuals? For individuals? Absolutely. Yeah, I'm never talking about individuals.
But it's individuals, but it's making policy for the masses. It's making policy for the masses.
Is it though? Is it? It feels very clubbish, if I'm being honest.
No.
As somebody who sits and has had to grill folk on the editorial page, there's a very insider cliquish way, and when I look at Harold Washington, for example, or even a Sharp James from Newark, even Ross Baraka, these are folk that weren't part of the machine per se. They were part of the people. 866-801-8255 or Murray Barry, part of the people. There's these outliers.
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in. just what I needed. You're the closest.